All right, we are now recording. Greetings, dear Virgo. This is a quirky playlist. We've never done one like this before, but I felt obliged to do it because of what's happening here in March 2019. From my perspective, Tarot Lumination is your reader. March 2019 is a very important month for the whole year for everybody. And there's so many things going on, but I decided we'll just focus on what I'm feeling here personally as the storyline. I'm calling it Through the Gateway, What Now? Okay? Here we go. Here we go. So, excuse me, dear Virgos. I messed up. This is you. Here we go. Sorry about that. Mercury retrograde. Of course. Obviously. Duh. Tarot Lumination is human, okay? I make mistakes. So here we go. As you can see, this is a very confusing, very quirky, interesting astrodoodle for Virgos. We're not going to dwell on this. What I'm going to do is just pinpoint a couple of items here. The March 6th new moon in Pisces, okay? Here in your 7th house. Very important. And the ingress of Uranus and Taurus into your 9th house, okay? This thing over here. So it's big, big shifts in your relationships and how they manifest. You might be seeing your whole life and your whole world about expanding new horizons, much bigger, broader, wider perspectives, wider horizons, especially regarding relationships or a particular single one-on-one relationship with a particular individual, whoever that might be. Someone foreign to you, someone you are foreign to them. And it requires having to, in order for things to work for you in terms of fundamental primary relationships, there's radical shifts and upheavals that are going to be happening for you inevitably in relationships, new beginnings, new starts there. It's already happened, and it's going to be influenced very heavily by Uranus and Taurus with the nature of relationships, seeing things from overseas. You might be developing overseas relationships, or foreigners might be coming to you. You might be moving to foreigners, something like that, some way, shape, or form. So it could be very eye-popping for you. It's very scary, very exciting, okay? Perhaps even threatening, okay? So what I want to do here is, excuse me, something really weird is happening with the screen. There it is. Okay. Again, it's Mercury retrograde. Of course, it's obvious it's Mercury retrograde. So, what I want to do, please, dear Virgos, imagine yourself on a cruise ship. You won a lucky Tarot Lumination cruise ship prize, and you're there with a bunch of other viewers, subscribers, members, likers, and Tarot Lumination is there and says, hello, everybody. We are at our next spot. We're going to get off at the island of so-and-so, and you're going to be going into the museum of so-and-so. It's the thing that all tourists do and new visitors do when you arrive at this new place. It's just like what happened on cruise ships and magical mystery tours, okay? And so Tarot Lumination hands you a brochure and says, here you are. Good luck. Just pay attention to this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this, which will be the little reading. And the Tarot Lumination pushes you gently through the gateway, and then you're left to figure out, oh my God, what now? What now? Because you've never done anything like this before. This is all totally brand new. Okay, we're going to come back to this deck in a moment. This is about the energy of surrender, the power of surrender, because it's going to require surrender in order to evolve, grow, adapt, and blossom, okay? So we want you to make full advantage of this energy here and see in any way, shape, or form how this can work for you. I'm going to use a very, very simple spread, and we're going to watch it like a little movie. Tarot Lumination is going to narrate the story as it unfolds, and you can reinterpret however you want to suit yourself. I know, Virgos, you like to have things done in a very practical, orderly way. And Uranus and Taurus is by nature very harmonious for you. So you might actually really enjoy the radical shifts, changes, and upheavals that are starting to happen for you in those aspects of life that I pinpointed. In particular, da, 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 the 7th house and the 9th house. Like, if you want to go deep into this, you can always come to Tarot Illumination for a personal reading. That's fine. Maybe you'll get enough out of this. But either way, there's going to be radical shifts and upheavals and changes in the world of relationship, especially from a very broad perspective, overseas, foreign lands, foreign people, foreign places, new horizons, okay? Cards are well shuffled in advance. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. And then we're going to pull the surrender card, okay? Here we go. Bless this deck. Bless every single card. Bless you, Virgo. Bless Tarot Illumination. Bless all the technology and the electricity that allows us to do this at all. Here is the situation. Remember, the theme is through the gateway. Oh no, what now? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle it. So what's the weather like for you? Okay. By the way, can you see this? Here, Virgo? Do you know where this is? Do you know what this is? This is a map. This is where Tarot Illumination is right now. Do you see this little, the tip of my finger over here? That's where Tarot Illumination is. Okay? And that's where Tarot Illumination was over there in Los Angeles. You can't even see Los Angeles here. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out for you. Tarot Illumination is going through its own version of Through the Gateway, What Now? So you are not alone, Virgo. You are not alone. Don't you worry. What's the weather like for you? Let's have a look. With the Devil card here, my feeling is that please don't be scared of this, okay? Please don't be scared. Please see this as an indication. Like I would like to think of it as your angels touching your shoulders on each side, okay? In a very physical, tactile way that you know it. In your physical life. Virgos, you're very, very physical, okay? Very, very tactile, and you're very, very sensitive in a very earthy down to earth, like you're very connected with matter, okay? So what can happen is you might be realizing how dense it is to live in a three-dimensional life. The bindings of physical reality over here, okay? And how deeply bound you may be to a pre-existing physical three-dimensional reality. And that awakening and realization would happen almost at the very moment that you go through this gateway, which is happening right now. So you're placed in a position where, on the very first impressions, it's just like, oh my gosh, given what Tarot Illumination just said, you're looking at vast new horizons, new perspectives, new ways of conducting relationships and living your life regarding not just one, but even all major significant relationships, your loved ones, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, children, parents, relatives of all sort, loved ones, your lover, your spouse, things like that, okay? And you're sensing the binding nature of all of these things, which is providing this sensation, and the awareness of the binding of these things is the contrast that you need in order to understand, like the gateway that's opening in front of you, that is essentially saying it's time to release yourself from the existing bindings, no matter how satisfying and comfortable and delicious they might be. You could almost see it as like a virtual prison. I don't want to scare you. That's probably too much of a strong word. But it's like there's a limitation. There's like an invisible leash. There's an invisible leash on your arm, your wrist, your ankle, your neck, or whatever it is. And then you realize it. Oh my gosh, like I had no idea. I had no idea that I was living in this kind of life and these kind of conditions. And it's becoming very, very evident now that there is life above and beyond your conditioning, your pre-existing limitations, your binding contracts and agreements that are often happening at a very subconscious level that might be restricting you, because Uranus is Taurus, in Taurus is going to blow it all open. The new moon in Pisces is going to blow it all open for you. So this, please don't be scared. I'm seeing this as very good news. It's very important that you see this and recognize it and understand it for what it is. There's no harm intended here. It's just an awakening. It's almost like the very first thing, you know, when you go on these magical mystery tours and you go through the gateway, this is the very first thing, like the sensation around you is like you're seeing it, you're realizing, you know, like they call it an installation, like when you go to these amazing art galleries and you're supposed to walk and live through this thing, and they call it an installation where you're supposed to have this awakening thing. That's what's going on here. So you go into this thing and you realize, oh my gosh, I am seeing the bindings of my life. And that's what you need to know, because if you're not aware of that, then you can't experience or have a chance to tap into the new horizons that are opening, that require the liberation from these kind of bindings and moving on and above and outside of the existing boundaries that you hold to yourself already. Let's have a look. What's the situation? Okay. So like a lot of us, we all need healing. We all want some healing. So in order for you to, let's say, proceed, when I see this here, I think it requires knowing, like a deep down knowing for you, Virgos, that part of what's happening here in this experience is primarily it's a healing experience. You know, the Pisces energy can be very much about healing. You got to reveal it to heal it. And you might be having to reveal it to heal it in the context of one-on-one relationship because of the seventh house. And so you become starkly aware that there's a lot of very subtle, deep healing homework that has to go on between yourself and a significant other. And I don't know a lot of people who talk about this much, but can you see this little tiny couple over here? To me, this is very much the indication of a soulmate couple here. And my feeling is that what's really has to happen is deep soul healing between yourself and significant others, recalibration, in order that you can evolve and grow and move into the new horizons that are expanding in front of you. It can't happen unless you go through a very gentle but very cathartic healing process between yourself and between yourself and a significant other or multiple significant others, okay? Now that's a huge thing to lay onto your lap, Virgo. That's the way I feel it here. Just in these two cards, I feel that this gateway, this experience, this what now thing is laying this thing in front of you, basically saying it is time for you, Virgo, to heal thyself, which means laying down all the pre-existing thoughts, concepts, and ideas that keep you in a state of binding to where you are now, and then allow deep heart soul energy to start to flow into the new world that is being exposed. There's no way out of it. You're being exposed to new horizons, new world, new landscapes that never existed in your life before. And yet that cannot happen. You cannot evolve, grow, adapt, and blossom without going through this, without the realization of the binding nature of the existing paradigm, and without the healing of anything that impedes you from unbinding yourself and allowing yourself to blossom, evolve, adapt, grow. Okay? And that journey, that thing that I just described here, will most likely and fundamentally happen in the context of one-on-one relationships. Maybe just a select few, maybe one or two or three or four, whatever it is, a small, very small number of people who are deeply significant to you on a one-to-one basis, okay? Now, what is the challenge here? Okay, my feeling is the challenge is that these relationships are very deep, very profound, very loving, and that's a problem when it comes to upheaval in relationships, where where the binding nature of deeply loving soulmate relationships becomes shaken up. Uranus is going to shake it up, shake everything up, and the Pisces new moon is basically saying we're starting from scratch, people, and it might be very, very unsettling for you. In other words, having to do something, go very, very deep in very subtle ways with very, very significant loved ones, people who love you, people that you love very, very dearly, and going into like the delicate places that have to be explored and healed because of the binding nature that keeps you where you are, which is actually limiting you from being who you are, where you need to be and where you need to go. So this looks very awkward, very sensitive, very delicate, but it's totally manageable. I know the Pisces energy is highly contradictory to you. It's like you're opposing energy. But if you can handle the energy of opposition, it can be the most satisfying, the most rewarding dynamic that exists in the world of love and relationship. It's very hard to do, but it is ultimately the most satisfying relationship dynamic. Sun opposite sun. So this looks very sensitive, very delicate, and irreversible. It's just something that you're going to have to deal with. So how are we going to deal with this? Oh my gosh, it's going to require immense tact, immense magnanimity, kindness, generosity, empathy, deep, deep empathy in a very, very responsible, dutiful, respectful way between yourself and a significant other, and between a significant other and yourself, where it falls upon you, Virgo, to take charge of the situation, because whoever and whatever else is involved here are highly vulnerable to the changes that are happening to you. Highly vulnerable in ways that you might not want them to endure because of the disruption, the destabilization of the binding natures that already exist. So my feeling is that there's a lot of love between you, Virgo, and your loved ones, but because of the inevitable changes that are happening, you're going to have to be the boss and take charge of how to handle a very delicate healing that has to occur between yourself and significant loved ones. It's not going to happen overnight, okay? I see this as a very tiny reading with lots of just a few little cards, but it has huge ramifications, okay, over an extended period of time. Okay, so with the King of Cups here, you're dealing with like serious heavy-duty energy, like the swirling, deep, deep, deep internal, like heart energies. I'm not going to say drama, but the turbulence that is inevitably going to be stirred up as you, even in your most gentle way, unshackle yourself from the existing shackles. You're just going to have to be extremely diplomatic, very regal, and you're going to have to maintain your integrity and love thyself first and foremost. I see this as a very challenging reading, but very doable and very, very satisfying, because it means you will prevail. You will like, be more in your integrity than you've ever been before because of the pressures of having to evolve. You have to do this. You have to evolve, grow, adapt in order to blossom. And you're doing it in an environment where there's deep relationship bindings that already exist. And how do you gently release things between yourself and those significant others so that you can be you and they can be themselves? Be gentle, be kind, be loving, be loved. You are the master. You will have to be the master of this. Forget the gender. It's a question of mastery. Okay? You can do it, Virgo. You have to. Thank you so much. I hope you get something out of this little mini reading. I'm going to go on to the surrender thing over here. Give me a second. I want to get this deck. We're already primed and ready to go. It's well shuffled in advance. I'm just going to go to the last second so that you're a witness. The thing about surrender is that it goes totally against the ego. The ego wants to win, to be happy, to prevail and solve all problems, and to survive and grow and get everything that it wants and needs now as much as possible. And to surrender, it's like deliberately saying, wait, what a minute, you're eternal illumination. You're saying I have to surrender in order to evolve, grow, and adapt and to blossom? And eternal illumination says yes. And you'll understand in a moment. Hold on. This is your card. Wow. Surrender your attachment to results. I'm hoping you can see how this is highly relevant to this. Okay, I'm going to read just off the card. It says here, like, Dear Virgo, the formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen, then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. I don't know if I can really add to this. In the other reports, I've been embellishing this and giving you my impressions, but I think this tells you in a very simple, clear way, like the results, like, okay, Virgo, you're going to have to evolve, grow, and adapt in order to blossom. You know that new horizons are breaking open in front of you, new vistas, new people, new places, above and beyond, way beyond your existing boundaries. It's opening up for you. It's inevitable. It's not going to stop. Okay? And so that's your life. Your job is to love thyself, live your life. Okay? And it's going to impact other people. And so let's just say you have the best of intentions, and you're going to conduct yourself as well as possible, given the little reading that we had here, not just for yourself, but for your significant others, your loved ones, and build in this new evolutionary step, evolutionary leap that is happening for you. And I love this message here, like, surrender your attachment to results. In other words, there's no point in planning the end or the outcome. It's much more important to live in the moment, set the intention, and go for it. Do the most loving thing you can do in that moment, not before, not after. And don't project anything onto the future like, oh, it's got to be like this, this, and this. No. This is a very powerful message to live absolutely in the moment, in the now, and don't worry about what happens to the significant others and the significant loved ones. That's their problem. You still have to be you. Do not deny yourself from being you and breaking the shackles and breaking open, expanding your horizons in order to accommodate the pain of others, because they have to heal and grow for themselves. They are going to have their own chart readings themselves, okay? So I'll repeat this again, and then that's enough, okay? Surrender your attachment to results. The formula for success, Virgo, is to do all you can to make things happen, then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. Okay? I know you know what that means. This is one of those little mini videos that might take several action replay rewinds to soak it all in, okay? I know it's just a tiny little spread little video, but I think this is quite significant for you, Virgos, okay? All the best. I know you can handle it. Bye-bye. Thank you, thank you, thank you.